Hello, I'm delighted to welcome you to this 30-minute dairy webinar. My name is Richard Hall and I'm chairman of Zenith International. I was going to be joined by Kevin Bellamy, our dairy consulting director, but unfortunately he's just been diagnosed with pneumonia and needs a bit of a break. Instead, I'm very grateful to Laura Knight, one of our senior market analysts, who's been involved in many of our dairy research projects and is standing in for Kevin.
Hi there.
I'll talk for about 3 or 4 minutes about the Global Dairy Congress coming up, and then Laura will comment on some key developments in fresh dairy and cheese. And at the end, we'll aim for around 10 minutes for questions. First, an outline of our next big event. This will be our 5th Global Dairy Congress. And it's being held from the 7th to the 9th of June in St. Petersburg. We aim to attract around 150-200 delegates each year from top global and regional producers. Elopak is our principal sponsor, and there are also 3 other very kind sponsoring companies, Berrycap, Color Matrix, and Gualapak. The full program and online booking details are on the zenithinternational.com website, and there are discounted rates until the 6th of May. We have 3 priorities. Oh, I've got to just go back to one slide. In the range of previous congresses, we've had quite an important group of dairy producing regions. We've been in Amsterdam, we've been in Athens, Madrid and Salzburg. And this is a particularly good year to be in Russia. Our theme of the conference is Healthy Outlook. We have 4 plant tours, including Unimilk and Wimbledon, and we also have some market insight workshops and a gala industry dinner. There are 3 priorities in our conference coverage: commercial success, good nutrition, and sustainable business. And we'll be focusing in our sessions on the global market and consumer trends, on social responsibility, on health, on innovation, and on emerging growth prospects. We've got a fantastic range of conference speakers. I just highlight the fact that we've got PepsiCo speaking. I believe this is the first time they'll be speaking on a global dairy stage. We've got the leading Indian co-op, Gujarat, with the Amul brand. We've also got Valio from Finland, Unilever, Dairy Farmers of America, Arla, and Meiji from Japan. It should be very valuable use of your time for briefing, for networking, and for planning. So that's just a bit of background about the Global Dairy Congress coming up. I'll now hand over to Laura, who will give you some market statistics and trend thoughts.
Okay, as Richard mentions, I'm going to give a brief market update on 3 key dairy markets, firstly starting with the global milk market, then touching on the yogurt market, and finishing off with cheese. Okay, so starting off with the global milk market, the chart in front sees the total milk market and includes figures for both fresh and UHT milk. As you can see, the total milk market has been growing steadily to reach around 250 million tonnes last year. It's forecasted to continue growing, reaching over 270 million tonnes by 2013, and this is equivalent to an annual growth rate of around about 2.5%. Growth in this market is being led by emerging developing countries such as Brazil. The milk market hasn't been very much affected by the economic crisis, mainly because it's seen as a healthy food staple. White milk accounts for the vast majority of total milk market, around about 95% of total milk volume, and this has been driving growth. Flavoured milk has also been growing quickly, but from a much lower base, accounting for around about 5% of total milk volume. Flavoured milk is forecasted to reach about 14 million tonnes by 2013. In terms of per capita consumption, it varies greatly between markets. In developed countries such as the UK, per capita consumption is sometimes over 100 kilograms per person, whilst in some developing countries such as China, it's much lower, around about 13 kilograms per person, and this highlights that there's significant room for further growth in this market.
I'm just going to stop there for a second. If you've got any questions about any of our slides or statistics or analysis, please do send them through to us. You can put them through on the system, and they'll come through to us during the presentation, and then we can take your questions as you come to them. So back to you, Laura.
Okay, the next slide shows the volume growth between 2009 and 2013. As you can see, we're forecasting an additional 28 million tonnes over this period. with the majority of the additional growth coming from white milk. Flavoured milk growth is coming from more innovative milks, such as functional flavoured milks. In terms of the regional split of the total milk market, you can see on the charts here that the main development over the period is the growth in Asia Pacific. We expect Asia Pacific region to account for around about half of the total milk market by 2013, and the main drivers behind this growth is increasing population and also rising incomes in this region. More developed regions such as West Europe and North America have more stable volumes and their share of the market's declining. Some reasons for this include competition with other beverages. Manufacturers in these developed countries are having to innovate more to try and maintain the consumption levels. Looking again briefly at the countries which are driving the total milk volume growth, you can see that there are 4 markets which contribute the vast majority. India, China, Pakistan and Brazil together are accounting for about 85% of the additional volume. In terms of the trends we've seen in the market, as I mentioned previously, milk with added functionality is driving growth. Manufacturers have innovated in this area and have now released milks which offer a wide range of health benefits, such as bone health, heart health, some weight management, and also targeted at specific population sectors such as women or children. Another key trend I'd like to highlight is the growth in products for those who are lactose intolerant. Lactose-free dairy seems to be increasing its presence, and in countries like Scandinavia is fairly significant, where it's being pioneered by manufacturers such as Valio.
In case you're wondering why you're hearing a female voice and you've just joined us, I should explain that poor Kevin Bellamy has caught pneumonia and isn't able to join us today. So Laura Knight, our senior market analyst, has stepped in to fill in for him, and I think she's about to move on to yogurt.
Okay, looking at the global yogurt market, you can see that the total yogurt market currently stands at around 12 million tonnes. That was in 2009, and this is up from 9 million tonnes in 2004. Spoonable yogurt accounts for around about 3/4 of the market, and annual growth in this sector has previously been around about 5%. However, the recent economic crisis has dampened growth, and it was around about 2% in more recent years. Drinking yogurt, although a much smaller sector, is growing faster than spoonable yogurt, and growth was previously at double-digit rates. This growth has been driven by consumers' interest in having a convenient product and having something they can drink on the go. Many of the trends in the yogurt market are similar to those seen in the milk market, such as functionality. We've also seen a lot of flavour innovation in this market, with some manufacturers creating indulgent and interesting flavoured products to keep consumers repeat purchasing. Natural products have also done well, such as the Greek yogurts. Another trend in this market has been for smaller packs suitable for snacking, and also the larger pots. We've also noticed that there's been a change or an expansion in consumption occasions, such as the pouring yogurts for breakfast, which are all helping to keep consumption levels high. Okay, now moving on to our global cheese overview. The total cheese market is estimated to have reached over 19 million tonnes in 2010. The market has been growing steadily, although experienced a dip in 2005, and annual growth rates have been around about the 1% level. The economic crisis has affected the cheese market more than the milk market, and per capita consumption is now stable. We're forecasting that by 2013 the total cheese market is going to be nearing 20 million tonnes. As you can see from the chart, it's the natural cheeses that account for the most of the market, with about an 85% share. Processed cheese is currently fairly flat and has been in stagnation mainly in the developed countries, although we are forecasting a small growth in this sector. In terms of additional volume, we're expecting an additional 1 million tonnes of cheese over the next 5 years, with 80% of this coming from the natural cheeses. The main change in regional spread of cheese consumption is that there's a falling share for the developed markets such as West Europe and North America, which are mature markets for cheese. However, regions such as Latin America and Middle East are increasing their share, and this is mainly due to a growing population and increasing familiarization with cheese as part of the diet. Between 2004 and 2013, we're expecting an additional 1.8 million tonnes to be added to the market. As you can see from the country list, they come from a variety of regions, unlike the milk market where growth has been focused just in the one region. In terms of per capita consumption, it's worth mentioning, just to give you an idea of the spread in per capita, in some of the more developing markets such as Brazil and Mexico, we have a per capita consumption of around about 3 kilograms per person, whereas in the more developed markets such as France, it's currently at about 26 kilograms. So this demonstrates that countries such as Brazil have a lot more room for further growth. In terms of the global cheese market trends, split them here between the mature market trends and the developing market trends. As you can see, in the mature markets there is increasing competition, mainly from private label, but also from more premium branded products as consumer tastes are expanding and they're more willing to experiment with more exotic types of cheeses. We've also seen that snacking has become more important as consumers want a convenient way of consuming cheese. And we've also seen an increase in consumers' desire to purchase locally produced cheeses and artisanal cheeses to make sure that the environmental impact of their purchase isn't too great. In developing markets, familiarization of cheese is driving the market, as mentioned before, and there's also an increased demand for the processed cheeses.
Okay, well that's a brief survey of some of the trends and some of the numbers in cheese and fresh dairy. You're very welcome to ask any questions you might have about the numbers and see whether there are other insights you would like to have. Got one question about global population, just asking about the extent to which global population is affecting these trends. And I guess that this is really about the increase in the global population. If cheese is only growing by 1%, is that actually a decline in per capita terms?
It's actually pretty much stable. As far as I know, I think the population growth is about 1%, so it's in line with that, meaning per capita consumption in cheese is stable at the moment.
Okay, and yogurts and fresh milk were growing by a bit more than that.
So, yeah, so per capita is increasing in those.
I must say, I thought cheese was growing a bit more strongly than that, so perhaps we've got some more growth to come. Right, got a question about what about the whey? Have you got any figures on whey?
I don't have any figures to hand, but we can certainly have a look.
No, we did some research, actually, didn't we, a year or two ago about the whey market. I mean, whey protein drinks seem to be going very fast, but are pretty small in scale. And I don't think they would get into the millions of tons, but we could get back to you on that in answer to that question.